folks, welcome to the preparedhomestead.com. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, we're hoping that this morning was the last of the super frigid cold for at least a couple of days. Negative temperatures again this morning when I got up. Still, it's like 1-2 degrees. Tomorrow, it's supposed to only get down to like 10. So it's going to be a heat wave. We'll be up in the teens today. We'll get out of the single digits and into the teens. And then overnight, like I said, it may be 9-10 degrees. Ooh, that sun this morning, good gracious. And yes, I know it's bouncy. Some of you love it, some of you hate it. It is what it is, right? You just, I guess, have to deal with it. That's what it's like living out here. The vast majority of the driving around and getting anywhere is you have to drive through these really bumpy, gravelly, pothole-ridden roads. Anyways, yesterday I was talking to you folks about how it's just almost a daily escalation right now when it comes to war. And once again, it's happened. The Houthis in Yemen have struck a Greek-flagged cargo vessel. So a couple of days ago, they hit a U.S. flag. Now they've hit a Greek-flagged. Like I said, yes, it's disrupting shipping and certainly going to cause costs to just continually increase on shipping. But really, in my opinion, what's really going on is this little kind of ragtag militia group is showing the world that the U.S. and the West can't really protect their own shipping, which has always been the thing. The Royal Navy and the United States Navy can protect their own shipping worldwide, global. Well, they can't because it's happening now on a regular basis. This is going to just continue to escalate, get out of control. Good gracious, I can't even see the road in front of me. It is so bright. Anyways, of course, there was something that went on last night in Iowa. I didn't pay attention to it because I personally don't care. Some of you might, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm not really too interested in that. Mostly, I just wanted to talk to you about we've got to get prepared, folks. We've got to take things serious. We're right now in the middle of winter, and many of you are experiencing some pretty harsh weather. And maybe you've already experienced some power outages. I know that we were fortunate in this area. There were no reported power outages through all this deep cold weather, but many of you, that's not the case. And winter's not over. This area could certainly see some power outages. What are you going to do when the power goes out? Do you have a plan? Do you have backups? Do you have contingencies? What are you going to do when the power goes out and you can't get fuel from the gas station? They take electricity to pump fuel. Do you have enough fuel in your tanks to at least to get you home or to get you where you're going? Do you have enough gasoline on reserve? What's your heat source in your house? When it's this cold, you don't want to be without a heat source. Your home, you will not be able to. I mean, you can, but boy, it's going to be really miserable, and not just miserable, but dangerous. When you're talking below zero temperatures at night, and some of you maybe even during the daytime, staying warm without a heat source is going to be very, very difficult. So what's your plan on that? Does your heat come from some government or corporate controlled source? Or do you have the ability to provide your own heat by your own means? And in my opinion, the very best is wood heat. We heat exclusively with wood heat. That's just all we do. We don't have any other heat source, and so we're exclusive wood heaters. And I think that's the best, especially in an area like ours where there's ample amount of fuel to heat your home on my own property and all around me. So what's your heat source? What about communications? A lot of people are so... communications is like electricity. You don't think about it. You go in and you flip the light switch and you expect the lights to come on. You pick up your cell phone and you expect it to work. You turn the radio on. You expect it to receive signals. You turn your computer on or whatever, and you expect it to work. What do you do when that doesn't happen? What do you do when you can't receive a signal or cannot transmit? You can't get information out. You can't contact anyone. Do you have a plan for that? Do you have a plan to listen in on emergency traffic, any type of notifications, some type of scanner that picks up police and local emergency frequencies? Do you have a way to communicate with your other people in your area? That's going to be through some type of radio system that's not connected to the grid. You know, your little handheld radios, GMRS, ham, things like that. Do you have that way to do that? Because once you're in the dark, whether it's a power outage due to the storm or some type of terrorist attack, which is becoming more and more likely the more increased conflict we see in the Middle East, do you have a way to communicate? What about your water? Do you have a source and a way to provide clean drinking water? You got to have water. You know, that's not something you can go very long without having. And water sources will become very polluted when things start falling apart. It doesn't take long after a grid failure and after just people panicking for a lot of water sources to become much more polluted than they already are. And so it's not just enough that you know that there's a pond over here or a creek or a lake or something like that. You have a way to clean that water and make sure that it's drinkable. Food, do you have food? Do you have enough food to last at least 90 days, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years? Do you have a food source? Do you have a way to produce food? Because you can't store enough food forever. So you should be producing your own food. Do you have a way to preserve the food that you've produced? Meaning you can it, you dry it, dehydrate it, you know, whatever it is. There are many ways to preserve food. And you need to make sure that you have a means to do that. Do you have a way to protect yourself? Do you have a way to protect your family? If anyone decides to get a little crazy, which there's definitely a lot of crazy people in the world today, and they decide they want some of what you have, or they want to do you harm, do you have a way to protect? And do you have you trained in how to protect it? Have you practiced? Have you gone through the drills? Have you honed your skills in being able to protect? Just having the tool isn't really good enough. I mean, if you get lucky, it might be good enough, but luck isn't always on our side, and we certainly shouldn't plan on just having luck on our side. So you should get out there and you should train and prepare and develop your skills on how to protect your home, how to protect your family. What about if someone gets sick or someone gets injured? That's going to happen. It happens all the time anyways. How many times you and your children or someone around you get sick? It's just normal, okay? And I'm not even talking about all the pandemic-y stuff. I'm just talking about normal stuff. You just get colds and infections and things like that. Do you have a way to treat that? What if you get injured and you're unable to get to a doctor? Maybe it's unsafe. Maybe you're not welcome. Maybe they're shut down. Do you have a way to take care of injuries as they happen? Because they will do that. Do you have a way to just bond together with other people? I mean, it's great if you're capable of doing everything on your own, but really, honestly, not a whole lot of people are truly capable of just doing it all on their own. And even if they have the capability, the knowledge, the skill, the physical stamina, you have to sleep sometimes. You have to have downtime. You can't do it all the time by yourself. And that's where having another person around, a community, a tribe, a mag, that's where that's beneficial. So do you have that? Have you been developing that? Have you built relationships with the people that live around you, your neighbors? Most people in America today, they don't even know who their neighbors are. They don't know their names. They don't talk to them. They have no idea. They've not built any kind of bond with them. If you build a relationship with your neighbors, there's less likely of a chance, not unlikely, but just less likely of a chance that they would turn on you if times get rough. So have you done that? Have you figured out a plan of how to get home? Have you figured out a plan of where to go if you need to do something and move fast? If you're out and away from the home and bad things happen, Do you know how you're going to get home? Does other people in your little tribe, your community, do they know how you're going to get home? Have you thought about these things? This and many, many other things is stuff that we need to be actively thinking about. As the conflict in the Middle East, as the conflict in Europe, the conflict in South Asia, and North Korea, and Africa, and South America, all over. The border problem here where thousands and thousands a day are poured into this country. The internal conflict, internal strife here in America that does seem to be building to some sort of conflict here within our own borders. There's too many things going on right now for you to just set aside and not worry about it. For you to just have this hope that the government will be there to take care of you. Have this hope that, it's not going to get that bad. Because there's a strong possibility that things will get that bad. Great Britain, I believe it was their defense minister, put out a video yesterday, a real nice, dolled up, produced video. And basically, the video was preparing the British people to be at war. He talked about how in the past decades that we've been in a state of peace worldwide for the most part, and that in the next coming years that we will no longer be in that we will be in a state of conflict globally, and that the British people must prepare for that. They must prepare for more spending for their sons and fathers to go off to war to defend their homeland. It was a war speech is really what it was. We're seeing that more and more often. It's because global conflict, global strife, the tensions, everything is increasing. We know at some point, at least one of them have a pretty good chance of popping off. And when that does, it's going to greatly and negatively affect your life. And you need to be prepared for it. Don't just sit around and armchair quarterback this and talk about how you need to do this and need to do that, or you know how to do this, or 20 or 30 years ago I did this, so I'm good. Can you do it now? Can you move without passing out and having a heart attack? Do you actually have the equipment? Have you practiced your skills lately? Maybe you used to be able to take a flea off of a horse's rear end 40 years ago, but can you still do it today? And is your equipment in condition so that it can do that? These are the things you should be asking yourself, and you should be coming up with solutions to any of these problems. Because time is growing short, folks. We don't have a lot of time left. You need to be getting your houses in order and preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.